This conference will now be recorded.
Okay, then maybe we can start the interview. So, can you please give your introduction?
Yeah. So first of all, very thank you. On a very short notice, you have arranged me at the interview, and I have 6 years of experience in the IT industry. In that, 2.5 years of experience at the RPA. Worked on the web applications. I worked on the two projects, which is one is in the live in the production, and one is my current project, which is web application regarding the trailer services management. In that, we guys are like providing the services regarding the trailers, like workshops services, like insurance services. There are many types of modules are available, and for that we guys are preparing a regression script. As of now, I have not worked on the any actual functionality like directly development script. They have given me all the test cases regarding the regression only, so I started with the regression.
Okay, okay, fine. So,
So it's a web
can you please?
application.
Okay, so can you please elaborate about your project, like what you did from the RPA point of view,
Yeah. So
and your
basically,
roles and responsibility as well.
yeah, sure. So basically, we have a three people's team in the RPA. So we three are working as a RPA developer and coordinating with each other. For the requirement perspective, we have a one on-site coordinator person. With them, we are connecting on a daily basis for the updates, and he is the only person who is giving us requirements. In the TIP project, we there are basically multiple modules are present, like MPS for planning perspective of workshops, customer for like assets, equipments in the sense assets, like trailers, number of trailers, workshop, like multiple places has a trailers workshops, and they are providing a services for the trailers. Like some incidents comes, like any accidents or any, like one suppose for example there is a one trailer uh, which uh, which is coming for a service, like we are doing, for example we are doing our bike servicing, like our quarterly or monthly basis, like that only. For the trailers also we are providing the services. For that we have multiple places workshops. So in the workshop, if trailers come, uh, then we'll have a one option, like we are creating one work pack, means one entry. In that entry we are adding some parts, like we are adding some tasks. Task in the sense, like what work actually we are going to do in that work like with that trailer asset. So there are like in that we required a technician also. So how much time required, so we are adding a technician, we are having a list of technicians available. So if from that we are choosing a technician for particular, like suppose I have added a task regarding the tire, so I'll be choosing a technician as which is related to the tires. And the time estimated, technician will give a estimated time, like for this task we required this much time, so we have a task time as well. And we'll have a required done date as well. Like required done date means and on what date this asset will be ready for go, like asset will be ready to dispatch means
Okay,
returning to the customer.
right,
So
right.
this is the
So,
exact process.
correct, correct. So I got, but what you did from the RPA point of view?
So in RPA point of view, I started with the like sanity and regression. In the regression, like I covered to create workpack. Like create workpack means create incidents. Create incidents, like one entry and adding some tasks to that entry. And then multiple pages, page navigations, and like once every, like I worked on the uh, real, like means what exactly is that, if from all module I have, like every day I'm logging to the application, navigating to the all modules, page navigations, and checking whether all this all, like every morning we are doing a sanity thing, all modules are working as expected, and after that we are sending a mail that application is stable, and like we can work.
Okay, fine.
And
Got the
I
name.
work on the
So,
email parts as well, like send
okay,
email with the log, like whatever the, like suppose I have done the one create work pack. After that, I am sending a mail that attaching the logs, like what all steps I have done, and attaching with that mail, I am sending a mail. So for
okay,
that
got it.
purpose, we have to use the config file.
So have you used any framework for this project?
Yeah, no, actually we have done this in the sequence only, but
Mhm.
from the RE framework, we use the config file. We have taken the config file from there, and we use that.
Okay, okay. So do you have any knowledge on RE framework as well?
Yes, actually, in my learning, I have done my learning in the RE framing. I know the what is RE framing and how it
So can
works.
you explain it, the working structure of RE framework?
Yeah. So there are mainly four stages in the RE framework. First is init, second is a get transaction, third is a process transaction, and last is a final state. In the init stage, we are basically doing what is the what is it, that reading the data, like opening the application, the basic first things we are doing in the init stage. In the get transaction, we are taking the data, we are taking, like we are loading the data into queue and processing it. In the process state, we are actually writing the code, what is exactly the requirement. And in the final state, we are closing the application, like final like close application and all things we are doing in the final state.
Okay. So
So for that, we use the config file as well.
okay, okay. So are we retrying the business exception in RE framework?
Yes.
Okay, fine. And if there is a system exception, okay. So if the system exception into the process transaction, then what will be the flow?
Process, sorry, can you please come again?
If there is a system exception into the process transaction, right? Then
Hmm.
can you tell me what will be the flow will flow from the process transaction?
If any exception occur, it will directly go to the final state, right? Because if we have like it will directly close the process.
Okay, okay. Fine, no problem. Okay. Then we'll go to the next question. For example, like you have 10 transaction items, okay, into the queue, right? So you have developed the bot, and maybe on a daily average basis, like you have to process 10 transactions per day, right? And those
Hmm.
10 transactions are taking 10 minutes to process, means 1 minute per transaction. But your client is saying, no, I want to complete this within a 5 minutes. Okay. And
Hmm.
like then maybe you will say we can optimize the process. So there is no chance for optimizing the process. The process is perfectly fine, right? So you have to complete that process in a 5 minutes. Then how you will achieve it?
Okay. So in that case, we have one solution like queues. We'll upload all the data in the queue, and we'll assign two robots, and we'll suppose we have a 10 transaction, we required 5 minutes of time for a 10 transaction. So in that case, we'll upload all the transaction in a queue, and we'll assign that to two different robots. So it will take like five, and it will do the all the transaction in a half time only, because there are two robots are picking that transactions.
Okay. So is there any possibility like the both the robots will pick up some duplicate transaction item?
We'll assign it. uh, no, actually we'll specify that how much transactions we are assigning that.
Okay, but at the end it's using the same queue, right?
Yes.
Okay, so they are using only one queue. Both the bots will use the one queue, right? So is
Mm.
there any possibility like the bots can pick up some duplicate transaction?
Yeah, that they can pick up.
Okay, okay, fine. Uh, then okay, again coming to the same question. For example, like we are running the process on a different two different machines, right? So we have to log in on that application two times, right? But
Mm.
it might happen that the credentials you are going to use, that will work only once, okay, only once on a per system, okay. In case you are going to log in on another system, it will log out from the previous system, right? So
Mm.
I want to pass the two different credential, right, to the same process. The credential will be different, but we have to process the same thing. So how can we achieve this?
I think through the asset we can create a duplicate credentials also. Like we'll provide a different name, but the credentials will same.
Okay,
Yeah,
okay, fine,
like that
no
only.
problem. Okay. So what is the difference between a find element and element exist?
Element exist like will it's in the element will exist. It is like a boolean type of true or false. Like it will find the element in the UI in the web in the UI. It will like find. Suppose there is a text called as text, and if I use the element exist, it will check like whether this text is exist or not.
Okay.
Okay.
And what is the by default timeout for the element exist?
I think it's um, now 1 minute. What is that? I think 3 seconds or something.
Okay. It's a 30
I
seconds,
remember
okay. By
30
default
seconds.
it.
30 seconds. Yes.
Right. Okay. Then what is the variable type for the element exist activity?
Boolean. It will check true or false. The text is exist or not.
Okay. Okay. Fine. Right. So we'll go to the next thing. For example, there is a string. Okay. Like the transaction number is okay, and after that there is a hash. Okay. The transaction number is, after that there is a hash, and after that we'll get some number, transaction number, for example 456. Okay. So I want to take only 456 from that particular string. So how can we do that?
First thing, with the get text, I will try to indicate that only the text. If it is taking, then that is actually good. If it is not taking, then I'll split that through the assign activity. In the assign activity, I'll use the split function to split the entire string, and I'll get the exact whatever is index I want. That.
Okay, okay, fine. Then, for example, if you want to read the emails, right? If you want to read the email, then which activity will use?
Get IMAP is the
Okay. So
activity.
what are the inputs we have to provide for the activity?
Yeah. So basically, there are four main inputs we require. It is one is port, second is server, then credentials, user ID and passwords. Yes,
Okay.
and then sorry.
Yes, yes. Go ahead.
Yes, server, port, credentials.
Okay, okay, got it. Then, for example, if there is a activity, okay, there is a activity. So it might happen in case you can get the error for that activity, okay, right? For
Mm.
example, click activity. So it might happen you can get error at that point of time. But what you want to do, like if you want to continue, even though you are getting that error for that particular activity, okay, you want to continue the flow, for example, right? So how can we achieve this?
Through the exception handling, we can achieve this.
No, no. So, for example, what I was asking, like, what will happen in case of exception handling? What I will give an example. You have to go to the application, okay? For example, you will search something into the search bar, then you will click on the search button. Okay, it might
Hmm.
happen. You will click on the search button, and if you click on the search button, then like maybe some products will get appeared. Okay, some products will get appear on the screen, right? So what is the thing here? The application is behaving like in this way. Even though if you are typing there, for example, if you are searching something into the search bar, right? So sometimes, even though you are not going to click on that search button, the product will appear there. Okay,
Hmm.
right? But sometimes, like even you are not going to click on that particular search button, the products will not appear. And even though if you are going to click on the search button, it will appear. Okay, so for click, we have less significance, right? For the click button. So what is the requirement here? If you are going to click on that search button, right, uh, you are getting some error. Okay, you are getting some element exist, not element exist, you are getting some error for the elements. Okay, elements not found, or maybe you are getting selectors error, right? So what I
Hmm.
want to do in this time, in even though you are getting the error for that uh, selectors on the click, you no need to bother about it, and it should process should continue. Okay, process should continue. It should go to the products, and it should capture all the information. Okay, because if you use the try catch, then what will happen? When you are going to click on the that search button, it will go to, and if there is a error, it will go to the catch, right? It will not go to the uh, further process, basically, right? So what I want to do, even though I'm getting the error on that search button, right, the further process should be continued, because here that search button having the very less significance.
Okay.
So I want to continue, even though there is a error, I want to continue.
So in that case, we'll use the throw exception.
Okay. No, but I don't want to throw the exception. Okay, because as I said, there is a very less significance of that search button. Even though it's working or not, it doesn't matter, because anyhow the product is going, or it is showing the list on the screen. So it don't have that much significance.
Okay, sorry, actually, I'm not able to
Oh,
answer.
okay, fine. What is the difference between like send window message and simulate click?
Send window message and simulate click.
Mhm.
Uh, like send window. 1 minute. Huh? Mm, simulate click means sometime when we are using a click, right? The area, like suppose I'm using a click activity, and sometime it is not like as you explain, give provided one example. Sometime it is clicking, or sometime it is not clicking. So in that click, what will do the simulate click? First, it will find that area, and then it is clicking. Okay, that is the
Mhm.
simulate click. And send window message. Sorry, no idea.
Okay, okay, no problem. So we are using the try catch for the error handling, right? So for
Hmm.
example, we have try, catch, and finally, right? So for example, if the process is running successfully, right?
Hmm.
Like it might happen the process can run successfully, it might happen process can fail also, right? If it just
Hmm.
for fail, it will go to the catches, right? But
Hmm.
when it will go to the finally block, if the process is executing successfully, then it will go to the final block, or if the process is getting failed, then it will go to the finally block.
Yeah, actually, if it in the both cases, it will go to the finally. Like in the try block, we are writing a code that is like a requirement code. In the cache block, what we are like like we are writing a code which is handling exception handling, like what we are like going to protect. And in the finally actually that is an optional block. Like suppose we can add mm, in both the cases, finally block will call.
Okay, okay, fine. So then, for example, okay, like you are getting a lot of emails, okay, in your inbox, right? So the email subject might be in this way, like invoice, right? Invoice file, right? In the mail, it will mention like invoice file from vendor A, invoice file from the vendor B, invoice file from the vendor C. Okay. So what I want to do, I want to go to that email, right, which is having or which the subject contains invoice, right? Invoice PDF, for example, or invoice file, right? So I want to go only those email where we have the word invoice file into the subject. It might be anywhere. It might be the starting of the subject. It might be then the middle of the subject. It might be at the end of the subject, right? It might be anywhere. So I want to go to such email and I want to download only a PDF and Excel file. Okay. So if there is any other subject, then obviously we'll not go to that email, right? But if that subject is there, right, then we'll go to that email and then I want to download the PDF and Excel. But if there is any other file, maybe image file or text file, I don't want to download it, right? So can you tell me how can we achieve this?
Yeah. So here we can use the get Outlook mail message activity. Through that we can like add a condition. Uh, First we'll use a for each to iterate the mailbox, like to check the mailbox. In that we'll add a condition like if the subject dot contains the specific word what invoice in the double quote, will specify the what word we want to filter that. And in the if condition will in the if condition will provide that condition like that subject dot contains the invoice, and if it is yes, then we'll add next at in then block will add activity as a save attachment. We'll take that.
Okay, and what about the condition like I want to download only PDF file or I want to download only Excel
Yeah,
file?
actually, the get Outlook mail message, there is a filter option also. We can add like extensions also dot PDF only, whatever files like we want. Suppose we want PDF, Excel, so we'll add a condition in the filter options like pipe of dot PDF pipe option, and then dot XLS, whatever options we want, we can add there.
Okay, and which activity?
I think get in the mail message only, there is a filter option also.
Okay. And what is the variable type of get IMAP mail message?
It's mail message.
Okay,
Mail
fine.
message.
Okay. What is the difference between list and array?
Yeah, array is like in the array we can like we can store same number of like same type of same variable type of what give me a minute. In array we can store same variable type of like what that word actually I'm not able to.
Okay, no problem, no
In
problem.
array we can store same like similar data type of values. In the list it's a collections. We can start like in array we should have some conditions, like we should store number of elements in the list and number of element we can store in the list. It's a
Okay,
collection.
okay, fine. So how can we call the another YAML file inside our project?
By invoke method, like invoking directly in the, suppose we are in the one workflow, if we want to call another workflow there, we can directly drag and drop there also through that is like invoke.
Okay, okay, okay. Can you tell me the different types of queue status?
Yeah, so there are 5 queue status. First is new, second in progress, third is failed, fourth is success, fifth is retired. There is one more, abandoned or something like that, not sure, but 5 are accurate.
Okay, okay, fine. So, for example, okay, there is a there is one process you have automated. Okay, so you have automated that process, and you are sending some transaction attempt to that process. Okay, and that transaction and that process is accepting the transaction atom only in a numeric value. Okay, if you are sending any non-numeric value, for example, right, it might be the blank data or it might be the like alphabets, then the system will not accept it. Okay, system will not accept it, even though it will not throw the error also. Okay, so in that case, okay, if you want to define like this is a exception. Okay, so how can we define?
Can you please come again?
Okay, for example, there is one application. Okay, there is one application, right? So we are sending the data to that application. Okay, there are some fields, maybe ABC. Okay, there are three fields ABC. Okay, so you have to enter those ABC fields. Once you enter this ABC field, you will click or you will submit that particular transaction. Okay, and after that the transaction number will get generated. Okay, it will generate some transaction number, for example, or order reference number, right? So in that application, the ABC field will accept only the numeric value. Okay, like 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9, right? But if you are passing any non-numeric data like ABC, XYZ, LMN, or if you click on the blank, then if you click on the submit, then what will happen? It will not throw any error, even though it will not accept that field first. But after that, if you click on that submit button, it will allow to submit, it will not throw any error, and it will generate the transaction number as well. Okay, but what you have to do in that case, if there is a non-numeric value is there, then we have to say this is an exception, because this is kind of exception, right? Like we are
Hmm.
getting some wrong data. So how can we achieve this?
So we'll add a system exception, and we'll into under that we'll write a code that if such type of data will come and added, and that transaction number is not generated, then we'll say that is an invalid data. We'll add a code that it says that that is an invalid data, and we'll continue clicking on OK button, or we are continuing the flow.
Okay, what are the different types of exceptions are available?
Exceptions, system exceptions, and business exception.
Okay, so what do you mean by system exception and what do you mean by business exception?
So system exception means just now we discussed if suppose any mistakes 1 minute. Mm, like suppose any if you are passing any data to the any application, and suppose that application wants requires only numeric data, and we are by mistakenly we are passing like a string data. So in that case it is a system exception. And business exception, mm, like any environment issue, in that situation we'll call as a business exception.
Okay, okay, fine. So, in case of the selectors issue, right? So, how can we make the selectors smart?
Yeah. So for the selectors issue, first thing we have an option as a in the edit selector we'll have an option as a repair. If it is possible to do from the repair, that is good. Else we can use the wildcards. Wildcards we have, there are two types of wildcards to make the selectors dynamic. One is asterisk, second is a question mark. Asterisk used for 0 or more characters, and question mark is used for single characters.
Okay, okay. So, in our like UI path. So we have sequence, right? We have flow chart, we have state machine, right? But what is the significance like into the RE framework? We are using only the state machine, not the flow chart or not the sequence. So any idea on this?
Like we are calling states one by one. It is one state is called, after that will call the another states. So it is defined by the states only.
Okay. But why? Like, why not flowchart or why not sequence?
Like sequence is a like single block activity. It's
Mhm.
a small type of project, so you can use it in different projects. Flowcharts, in the flowcharts, we have a option like a it is a, like a decision based
Mhm.
on the expression specified,
Okay.
and the
Okay. For example, okay, like you are using the element exist activity. Okay. So for the element exist activity, the default wait time is 30 seconds. Okay. So in case if the element is available, right? So the activity will wait for 30 seconds or like at the same time it will perform the next action.
yes, actually, it is a by default time is already assigned to 30 seconds. Then it will take the 30 seconds. If you are updated as a like, if we have decreased that time, then it will not wait.
Okay. No. Okay. Then, for example, if you want to, if I want to schedule the process, okay, at maybe particular amount of time, like 2 a.m. In EST time, okay, 2 a.m. EST time. So how can we achieve this?
Sorry.
What I want to do, I want to like run the process, okay, at particular time on a daily basis, okay, Monday to Friday, 2 a.m. into the morning in EST time zone.
Okay, in that case, we'll use a time scheduler. Through the time
Okay,
scheduler, we can schedule the timing and like when we want to run this process.
okay. And what about time zone?
Mm, sorry, not aware.
Okay, okay, fine. So what are the different types of bots like can we develop?
Attended, there are two types of bots we can develop: attended and unattended.
So what is
Attended
the
means
yes, yes.
attended means it can work in the same workstations, like UiPath and Orchestrator are installed in the same machine. It cannot attended robots cannot run in the lock screen. Okay, unattended means it's a virtual types of. It can be run in the multiple any machines, and also in the under locked screens.
Okay,
Attended robots work as a human on the human events. Unattended as a completely independent.
okay, okay. Fine. So what are the types of challenges or what are the different types of challenges you face during your automation?
Yeah, so as I told you, like my project is web applications, and in that we are basically means most of the time we are like using the we are like dependent on the selectors. So most of the time I face the selectors issue only. So again I need to go to back to the activity. I need to the repair it, or I need to the mark it, prepare it as a dynamic. So most time I faced in the selectors issue only.
Okay. What is the purpose of managed package?
Yeah, manage package. It's a manage package gives us a like library like so. If we suppose if we want any activities and that are not installed in our like in the our process, So it will not allow, studio will not allowed like we in the search activity search box we will not get this activity. So for that we need to install the packages regarding that activity. So through the manage package we can install that packages, and it provides us the auto update policies. If we have installed already any packages that is auto updated will be done. It also we can install and uninstall earlier installed package. We can uninstall and we can install new packages. We can uninstall old packages as per our need.
Okay, fine. No problem. Okay. So what are the different types of OCR engines are available into the UiPath?
Yeah, basically OCR engines are used in the image reading the image. So there are I know there are three OCR engines. One is Google, second is Microsoft, third is Omni Page, and fourth is Abe something. Three I
Abuse.
confirm. Abio.
Okay. So what is the purpose of the UI Explorer?
UI Explorer.
Mhm.
Okay, so UI Explorer is a advanced tool. Through that we can make our selectors dynamics. Sometimes we need to deal with the multiple windows, buttons, and lists. So in that case, selectors are dependent on the screen positions. Okay, so to overcome this problem, we have one option like UI Explorer. Through the UI Explorer, we can make our selectors dynamic.
Okay. Which type of activities don't require the selector?
Which type of activity?
Don't require the selector.
Sorry, no idea.
Okay, fine. No problem. Okay. Uh, so we'll go to the next question. For example, okay. For example, I have some invoices into the folder. Okay, and I want to go to these invoices and I want to take few data from there. For example, like invoice ID, customer name, and then maybe like total amount. Okay, so we have to go to the each and every PDF and we have to take this data and then we have to write it into the Excel file. Okay, and here I want to do or I want to run this process in a background. So how can we achieve this?
Can you please come again with the question?
I said I have some invoices, PDF invoices into the folder. Okay, so I have to go to the each and every invoice and I want to capture like invoice ID, customer name, and total amount. Okay, and after capturing, I want to add those values into the Excel file. Okay, so here I want to achieve this automation maybe in the background. I don't want to open the PDF file and I don't want to do the like I don't want to scrap the value from the PDF. So I want to handle it in a background.
Background means we don't need to open the PDFs.
Correct, correct.
Sorry, actually, I don't know. But with the front end, I know to open to reach out to the folder, we'll use the get directory option. Through the get directory, we'll reach out to the folder, and then with the open process or open application is the activity. Through that, we can open each PDF file, and by the get text we can take the text whatever the invoice number and amount, and to write into the Excel, we'll use the write range activity, and we'll specify the column name where we want to the write.
Okay, okay, fine. How many processes can we run at a time?
How many processes?
Can we run at a time?
Studio or orchestrator?
No, no. We are running the process on the robot, right? By using the assistant on one machine. Okay. At a time, how many processes can we run?
I think when one process only, one after another it will take.
Okay, fine. So, can you tell me what are the different types of UiPath components?
Yeah. So there are three UiPath components. One is Studio, second is Robot, third is Orchestrator. So Studio is a complete integration of application development, integration of application development, where we can prepare our workflows. Okay, and through the robot we can deploy, like through the robot we can run the our workflows. And Orchestrator, it is a web application. Through that we can execute our workflows, like a schedule that schedule like workflow execution. In the Orchestrator we can like use the assets,
Okay, okay, fine.
credential store.
Okay. So if I want to write the text, okay, in the next line, okay. So which function we have to use it if you want to write into onto the next line?
Environment dot next line, new line, new line.
Okay. New line or next line?
Next line.
Okay. So have you used the delay before and delay after property?
Yes, delay
Oh,
before means suppose we have activity click or yes, click. So delay before means it will wait before clicking the click, like before executing the click activities. Delay after means suppose we have a activity like mm, we have activity like fine, so click. After click we have to wait for like whatever simile uh, it's seconds or like whatever time we want to wait after performing the action, we are using the delay after.
okay. So right. So what is the purpose of debugging? We have the one option, right? Debugging. So what is the purpose of the debugging?
So debugging, the purpose of debugging is like make our workflow error free. So debugging gives us an idea, entire idea, like how our project is executing step by step. What all things are happening in that. It will show in the panel, output panel. So through the debugging, we can make our workflow error free.
Okay. So for example, okay, like I'm going to automate one application. Okay. So first we have to log into that application. Okay. After the login, again it will ask for the like maybe second type of authentication. Okay. So in that authentication, like you will have some six questions. Okay. Six questions, for example. Okay. But what will happen? Every time will those questions will come randomly, right? Two questions will come. It might happen first and second can come, third and fourth can come, first and fifth can come, right? So what I want to do, I want to automate this scenario as well. Okay, so I will log in. After that, I will get any two questions out of these six questions. But what I want to do, irrespective of any questions, right? I want to go and if that question is there, I want to write the answer for that question, and then I want to log into the application. So how can we achieve this scenario?
Yes. So for login purpose, first like we'll use the get credentials. Through the get credentials, we'll take the user ID and password, and then we'll use the click activity to click the sign in. Okay. After sign in, we'll use the anchor base activity so that it can find the question first, what is that. In the anchor base, we'll find the what is the question, and then only we can write the answer. So what anchor base is filled in, it will first find the element in the position, EY position, and then it will write the answer.
Okay, so you will capture all these 6 questions, right, in anchor base.
Yes.
Okay, but as I said, only two will come at a time, right? So what will happen in case for other 4 questions, if it's not coming on UI, it will throw the error, right?
In that case, we'll use the if condition
Okay.
for 2.
So how can we use that if condition?
Like we'll in the if condition, we'll specify like mm, what is that exact means. Sorry, actually.
Okay, okay. Fine then. So I'm done from my side. Okay,
Okay.
I will stop.
This conference will now be recorded.